Senior Spotlight has always existed to celebrate Sioux Falls School District students. Many of those we have featured are also celebrated in other ways, such as being named National Merit Finalists, Full Ride Scholarship Earners, Gatorade Players of the Year, Perfect ACT Scorers, or statewide, regionally, or nationally recognized artists. But just as many have been quiet, humble, hard workers who do everything that is asked and more without any of the fanfare or flash. Many have overcome odds to get where they are, or worked harder than most to earn what they have. In this episode of Senior Spotlight, we travel to Washington High School, where two seniors have, are, and will continue to inspire us. No matter how you manipulate your high school schedule, there are only so many courses you can take at a time. For Washington senior Mayli Arbach, 4 of her 6 classes senior year are college level.
I started out with AP Gov, very fun class. Just took it because I don't know if I want to do something with government. And then I have journalism, and then I'm in AP Calc, which is fun, really confusing, kind of flies over my head all the time. And then I have psychology, which I absolutely love because I've been wanting to take psychology, and I might do that as a career. And then I have physics, just regular physics. Although I took AP Chem last year, I should be taking AP Physics, but I don't have the time for that. I already have too much homework. And then my last class is AP Lit.
Too much homework can affect her activities and her job.
I work at Sanford at the 49th and Oxbow. I teach kids with disabilities how to swim. My best friend from elementary school, her name is Mackenzie Putnam. She's like a sister to me. She has a sister with Down syndrome. Her sister Taylor was in the Special Olympics, United Wolfpack. And so she was with the Wolfpacks, and then Mackenzie would volunteer, and I'd spend the night over there all the time. So then I would volunteer too, so I could spend more time with Mackenzie. And then I kind of just fell in love with the job, and I got to know my boss really well, Carol. It seems hard, but once you get to know the kids, it's fun, and I work with my friends, so that's nice. And it's a good atmosphere, and it's like a nice refresher at the end of the day. And I just like teaching the kids, and yeah.
She also spends time volunteering in other ways.
I volunteer with Wolfpack, and I help my dad do a lot of stuff. He is very involved in the community, and he's kind of taught us how to grow up doing that, I guess, and that we should be kind to people and help out. So he does rake the town and some other stuff with his work, and the food drive, and so we do that too.
She does even more than that, but we'll get to that in a bit. For now, we're going to rewind back to her first period advanced placement government class, where one of her table partners has more than just this class in common with Mayli.
I am taking AP Gov, AP Lit, AP Spanish, AP Calc, and then Physics.
Merci Arbach is Mayli's twin sister. She's also taking 4 college-level courses right now, but they're by no means her first.
I took AP World my sophomore year, which is normal, and then AP US History, AP Lang, and then, AP Chem, yes.
Merci is just as busy as her sister.
Well, this year it's kind of difficult because I actually tore my ACL August 4th, and I had surgery, so I'm not cleared for sports yet, but usually I was training for cross country, and then I usually do powerlifting. That's awesome. I like lifting with the football guys. That's fun. And then I would do track and field. I did do softball a couple years, but then I moved to a traveling team, so I don't need to do both, And then I do quiz bowl. I'm so bad at it, but it is so fun. And then Chem Club, HOSA I did last year.
What Merci didn't tell us on camera is that she also volunteers at the Kenny Anderson Community Center with the after-school program, helping elementary students with crafts and other activities. And they're both part of a club that you might not expect.
I'm in knitting club, obviously. I'm wearing the shirt. Do I know how to knit? No, but that's okay. I've been going there since my freshman year, so it's a fun environment, and I love the teacher, Mrs. Mayer.
That's really fun. I've taught 3 people how to knit this year, so we're on a roll. Hopefully there'll be more.
Knitting club came to be because with the freshman academy, when I was teaching that, we were told to bring something to teach the kids that we were interested in during Smarter Balance testing because the freshmen needed some activities. So at that time I brought knitting to teach just a couple groups of kids that wanted to learn. And so from that I had a group of girls that really liked it, so then they just started coming in and knitting with me before after school and just kind of very informally. And then they decided to start knitting club. It was the seniors that graduated last year, and they started knitting club. A lot of times knitting club is mostly a social club, so I bring treats or someone bring treats and we have coffee and different things like that, and a lot of homework is happening, or not a lot of knitting most days. So it doesn't progress a lot unless they take initiative and try to learn a little bit more on their own. But we try to get the kids to run the club so they teach each other, because I'm getting ready for class on Friday mornings. And they just sit and hang out, and it's just relaxed and comfortable and very social and fun.
It's such a crazy club, like, to think about it, but I had friends that were knitters my freshman year, so I just followed them around, and they graduated. So now I've been doing it for 4 years, you know. I like it, and the teacher is awesome, Miss Mayer. It's like a counseling session. Like, I just feel so welcome. It's awesome up there, but it's more of the atmosphere than actually knitting.
Yeah, it can be a therapy. It can also be tutoring, because they do a lot of homework too if they're having something due that day. School always comes first, you know.
Knitting club gives these young women another place to shine.
So they're strong leaders in the knitting club. This year they've been the only ones coming in to actually teach knitting, because most of my starters of the club have graduated. So Mayli and Merci both come in and help with knitting club on Friday mornings. And they are known to be the hardest workers, because they come and help with concessions. So they help with fundraisers. We raise money for Knitting Club every year to buy blanket materials to help Project Warm Up. So they're always there the whole time, and they work hard, and they are the last ones there and help me count the money. And they're just the ones who show up at the beginning and stay through the end of everything that they do.
That level of dedication is likely the reason that Mayli currently has a 3.9 grade point average and Merci has a 4.0. While between the two of them, they've taken a combined 15 advanced placement courses at Washington. Their teachers are not surprised.
So I had Mayli and Merci both in AP Chemistry last school year, and they both are active in Chem Club. Merci has been a leader for the last 2 years, and Mayli's been helping out off and on with leadership roles as well.
Among high school students, AP Chemistry is generally agreed to be one of the hardest classes available.
So usually it's students who are interested in a career in science of some sort, whether it's healthcare or maybe in a research lab or something like that. But it's all students who are very dedicated to their education. They put in a lot of hard work and a lot of time to be successful, and both girls were. So they're both very hard workers. Both really have their eyes set on what they want to do after high school. And so they put in a lot of time. They are dedicated. They ask a lot of questions to make sure that they're understanding. And they're just really fun to be around. They have really friendly and are really supportive of their fellow classmates as well.
Having students like Mayli and Merci in class leaves an impression on their peers, as well as their teachers.
It makes me feel really great, and it really helped build a lot of camaraderie between the students last year, especially with everything else going on. It was kind of nice to have that group that was really supportive of each other and willing to help each other out and kind of go that extra distance to be supportive.
Their knitting advisor had Mayli in class freshman year and completely echoes those sentiments.
She was just very meticulous about her work. If she missed a half point on a quiz or an assignment, she'd want it back and she'd want to correct it and redo it and make sure she understood every little detail. And she just had such a good work ethic and positive attitude and the drive to learn as much as possible that she was a standout to me right away as a freshman. To have Mayli in class was a good influence on the rest of the class, and people just in general were drawn to her, and her attitude and spirit were contagious, and it made everybody in the class better because of her willingness to learn and make mistakes and learn from them, and then she would help other classmates in the same way to grow.
Mayli and Merci are superb examples of what Washington wants warriors to be. They've both earned the Circle of Courage Award, and they were nominated for the Sanford Promise Program, and they have their eyes set high for the future.
University of Sioux Falls is what I applied to. I think I want to major in psychology.
In fact, Mercy's goals may mean that all the college credits she's earning right now will likely have been earned simply for the rigor of earning them.
Merci is really interested in going into the Navy. Unfortunately, with her knee injury, some things have maybe had to be pushed back a little bit, but that's the entire time I've known her, that's what she wants to do, and she's really put in the time and the work and is really focused on that being her goal after high school.
I'm actually planning to go to the Naval Academy. I have not been accepted. I am applying, and their process is super long, so I'm in the middle of that right now. My credits won't transfer. It's just a nice to challenge myself in those classes because it's, it's practice for when it actually matters in college.
The Arbach twins fit so perfectly into everything that Washington High School stands for, the 4 tenets of the Circle of Courage: generosity, belonging, independence, and mastery, that many people do not know and could never suspect what you're about to learn. These sisters have achieved all of this and more, continue to serve others, and consistently raise others up in spite of, in defiance of, long-lasting challenges that stem from childhood trauma.
Before we were born, my mom is an alcoholic. She didn't realize she was pregnant until she went to the doctor's office. And she was like, my back has been hurting really bad. So then she got an x-ray done, and it showed 2 little spines. And that didn't stop her from drinking or smoking or anything like that. And I don't necessarily blame her, I guess, because she did it before she knew we were there, and I guess she just did it afterwards. It's an addiction. Not saying that she shouldn't have stopped, but I'm grateful because when Merci and I were born, we had all 10 fingers and all 10 toes, and so Teresa and Mike, my aunt and uncle, but I've been living with them for so long that I call them my mom and dad. When we were younger, my dad actually took Merci and I to go get our blood drawn because they were doing this test to see what was going, if there were any side effects for people who had moms that were drinking while they were in the womb. And we actually are missing a little piece of an allele on our chromosome. So when we were born, we were really premature. And I was in the NICU for 3 months. And Merci got out, and we had a 0% chance of living. So once we transfused blood, then she was able to go home, and then I had to stay. And when we were both at my aunt and uncle's house, my parents, my biological mother took us in the middle of the night, and my mom and dad spent several months trying to find us. We moved around with her. She once was dating this trucker, and I remember living in the truck, the semi, and staying on the mattress, and so then she went to jail. And she had a DUI, and I remember the police officers coming when I was with my sister. My older sister, Megan, she got us from daycare one day, and we went to our house that we had. And then these police officers showed up, and they explained to Megan that my mom went to jail.
So our mom got taken away when we were probably 4 or 5, and we went and lived with another family, also in our family, so we got very lucky, and they had their own foster kids, so we went and stayed with one of our other family members until Mike and Teresa our aunt and dad, the one we live with right now, could come and get us, and we lived with them for about 10 years or so now. And it's really awesome, but it was really hard in the beginning because, you know, our mother was like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine," kind of thing. She kept getting like arrested again and then let out, and she would do the rehab, but she wouldn't stick with it. You know, she just couldn't find a will to get better. So it's kind of like, oh, you know, like I love you, but I don't love you enough to get clean kind of stuff, yeah. But it's okay because my aunt and uncle taking the role as mom and dad. So.
I actually suffer from severe depression and anxiety, and a lot of it's from childhood trauma. Not that I remember a lot of my childhood, but I'm working through it all the time. And well, I don't really use it as an excuse because as we were growing up with our mom and dad, they were like, well, you know, you had a rough past, but it's not an excuse to slack off, like be your fullest person.
I always like suffered with like self-image kind of thing. If my real mother didn't love me enough to, you know, get clean, then obviously there's something wrong with me. But then I found God, and that helped out a lot. After COVID, I was not doing well, and I tried to take my own life. And I went to the mental hospital. And when I was there, I had to have a talk, like a big talk with my parents because I was vaping and I was drinking and I was like addicted. And as a lot of people know, if your parents are addicted, that means sometimes you're more likely to be addicted to stuff. And I was drinking all the time, and I was vaping. And after that, they were like, when I got out, they were like, if this happens again, I don't know if we're gonna be able to keep you, I guess. So that's kept me from drinking and vaping. So I'm like 2 years sober. Anxiety, and then I used to suffer with like, hers is so bad, and I feel so bad for her. But my depression was pretty bad, and then I found some people to rely on and vent my problems out, and found other ways to relieve the stress and anxiety I get, and that was like sports. She's very, very competitive. It's really bad, especially when we're playing cards as a family. It's so bad. But so competing is how I keep my emotions in check.
Through the love and support of the people around them, they've turned trauma into triumph and drawn inspiration from injury.
I like the idea of serving and doing something bigger than myself kind of thing. My mom wasn't always the best mom, and I have great parents now that like accepted me, and they were great role models, and I just want to be better than like my real mother was. Just kind of be like, oh look, like I turned out just fine, and what better than to serve in the military?
Going through what they have was by no means easy, but it was lessened because they had each other. But let's be honest, twins or no, sisters are still sisters.
Our aunt and uncle are our real mom and dad now. They sacrifice so much for us, it's crazy. I mean, I won't actually know until I have my own kids, but we're kind of a handful sometimes. We've definitely grown closer, and I'd say we have like a really strong relationship. We're not, I guess the stereotype is like, oh, they can feel each other's pain and everything like that. I mean, we can't. We do go to the bathroom at the same time, if that counts for anything. But no, we have a really good relationship. We have our issues, you know, we fight a lot. She's kind of controlling, I'm kind of passive aggressive, so when we put it together, it doesn't equal good things sometimes. But when we're nice to each other, we're awesome together, so very strong. And our dad has always taught us, like,
like they're our number one person. Like Merci will always be there for me. I have like a built-in friend. So I don't know, my dad has always been like, okay, you need to be nice to her. There's no reason to be fighting.
Her parents actually went out of town and it was just me and her, and I was like, oh, can our parents come back? I don't want to be with her anymore. But of course, she's just like any other like sibling. Sometimes we fight a lot. It's like having like a normal sister, but like sometimes like the battles are so much bigger, but the good moments are so much better with her. She's awesome, and she's always been someone that I can talk to, and like she always listens to me, and I always listen. I try to listen to her as well as I can. I would like to say I'm good at it, but she might say otherwise, of course. But she's always been there, and she's awesome, and she likes to do the same stuff that I do, so we can bond over things. She's awesome.
Aside from each other, Mayli and Merci also know the Washington community always has their backs.
So Mrs. Mayer she's been a really big part of my life, and she's just such a kind woman. And you know, I know she's had her downfalls in life and her problems, but she continues to come to school every day and is just this nice person, and she's very responsible. And so I go to her a lot sometimes when I have issues. And Mrs. Nold, every time I talk to her, she always makes me feel so much better about myself, and she like just makes me cry every time because the stuff that she says I don't really realize. You know, she tells me how beautiful I am and everything, what I've accomplished. And it's just been a lot, I guess. So she's really helpful. Everybody is so nice here. All the teachers are, and all the staff, and it's just like, it's nice. Because sometimes, you know, you don't realize that they know you, and then when they know you, it's like, wow, and you feel appreciated.
All of my teachers have always been there, and especially like Mr. Stahlberg and Mrs. Stahlberg and Mayor and Melbrick and Miss Woundedhead, and she, you know, she created my essay really nicely. But yeah, all of the teachers always have been there, and I always feel safe, and especially with my counselor, just to talk to them and just explain how I'm feeling. Like, I don't even need to go in deep, and they're like, oh, we're here for you. Just the welcoming atmosphere. And of course I have a lot of friends at Washington. I know a lot of people too, and it's really nice because I'll go down the hallway and everyone will be like, oh, hi. So it's not like I ever feel secluded from anything. I always feel welcomed, no matter, even if I don't want to feel welcomed, kind of thing. It's really awesome.
And that Washington community couldn't be prouder to support these young women.
They are incredibly supportive of each other. And that really came through with them being in the same section of AP Chemistry last year, about how, you know, if one of them was struggling, the other one lent that support or helped him out, and then vice versa, depending on kind of what our topic was. And you see that outside of school too, with how they get to school and kind of their work and with their different activities, that they're just always there for one another. And it's really awesome to see.
They just have such grit and determination when they are such hardworking and so conscientious. I know that they can do anything that they choose to do with themselves. And you just really want them to be on your team and be leading your team, because they're going to get everybody doing what's right because of their strong integrity. They go on with their day with a positive attitude, with resilience, and they conquer whatever challenge comes their way. And I think whatever they've gone through in the past just makes them stronger now. And you don't see it. You don't see that they have any challenges in their background, because they mix right in and do their work and conquer whatever thing they need to do.
With each other, in a community of compassion and encouragement, and with a devoted family behind them, there's nothing in their way.
So I hope that underclassmen see how involved you can be and how everyone supports everyone else, and you can be in a variety of different activities. You don't have to kind of pigeonhole yourself into just sports or just academics, that you can really be a part of everything and kind of have that whole high school experience.
They can do anything, both of them. They're both very different. Merci is more outgoing and boisterous, and Mayli is more reserved and sits back and kind of sees things first before she's going to try to conquer them. But both of them can do whatever they want to do and become whatever they want to be. They have the grit and the determination to be whatever they choose to be. And I look forward to seeing what changes they make in the world, because they will make an impact for sure.
Yeah, so it follows the same thing.